we will discuss the method of sampling method of designing FIR filters. So in this method, we will be using frequency samples of the frequency response. That is why it is called frequency sampling method. The main difficulty with the window method is the difficulty of evaluating the integral equation. So especially when we have arbitrary transfer functions, this evaluation is very difficult. We need complex algorithms for evaluating that integral equation. That is why we use frequency sampling design in certain cases. So in this case, we can start with some ideal response, or even we can start with some arbitrary response. It's all possible. So what we do in this method is we take n+1 samples of the frequency response of the system, or the DTFT of the system. Now from this DTFT, we will evaluate the required impulse response. This is actually similar to the DFT IDFT method or DFT IDFT equations. So this n, remember this capital N here is the order of the filter. So the length will be n+1. And in this method, the omega value we use from 0 to 2 pi. And the samples are evaluated at certain intervals, delta, which is equal to 2 pi divided by this capital N plus 1. So let us see an example. Design a 10th order low pass FIR filter using frequency sampling design for a cutoff frequency of 1000 Hz, sampling frequency for 1000 Hz. So in this case, we are starting with an ideal response. So this ideal frequency response is having sharp transition bands. So we can even start with some non-ideal slopy transition bands. So in the coming slides, we will discuss about that. So whenever the analog frequencies are given, we have to convert them to digital frequencies because we are designing a digital filter. So we use the equation 2 pi fc by fs for calculating the cutoff frequency, digital cutoff frequency. So we use the formula 2 pi f by fs, 2 pi into actual frequency by sampling frequency. So we get the cutoff frequency as pi by 2, and we have to evaluate the samples in 0 to 2 pi range. So for that, we have to draw the transfer function in this form. So since the cutoff frequency is pi by 2, from 0 to pi by 2, we should draw this amplitude level is equal to 1, and from pi by 2 to pi, it should be 0. Then whatever we have drawn in this portion 0 to pi, make a mirror image of this thing from pi to 2 pi. So this range we draw here from pi to 3 pi by 2, and the 0 to pi by 2 range we draw from 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi. So this way we have to draw the frequency response. Now we have to find the delta, the samples in the frequency axis. So this delta is 2 pi by 11 because it's 10th order, so the length will be 11. So 2 pi by 10 plus 1, 2 pi by 11, that will be the delta. So at every delta, we have to evaluate these amplitudes. So in this case, it's very simple because it's either 1 or zeros. We just forget about the transition because whatever we have taken close to the transition band, it will be approximated in the actual design. So we don't do anything with the sharp transitions. So this delta we have to evaluate from 0 to 10, the 11 values. So we have to find the k deltas, by putting k is equal to 0, 1, 2, etc. So for k is equal to 0, we get k delta is equal to 0. K delta is equal to 0 corresponds to this frequency value. K delta for k is equal to 1 is 2 pi by 11 into 1 is 0.571. So at omega is equal to 0.571, we have to mark 1 point, that is k is equal to 1. And what is the amplitude at this point? That you have to write as the frequency sample value. So that will be the h1 value. So the h0 value is this one, and the h1 value will be this one. So like that we have to write all these sample frequency samples. Now like that we evaluate all the deltas from 0 to 10. So that will be these frequency axis points. Now the corresponding amplitudes you have to write as h0, h1 up to h10. You have to write this up to h10. So you can see the h0, h1, h2 and h9 and h10. These values are 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 values are 1. And the other h, this is 0, 1, 2, this is 3. h3, 2, 3, 4, 5. These values are zeros. So you can see that h0, h1, h2, h9, h10 are 1. And h3, h4, h5, h6, h7 and h8 are zeros. Now there is no need to take the h11 value because it's same as this value because we already taken the h0 here. So we take values from h0 to h10. Now these are the frequency samples. That means these are the corresponding DFT of the system or the filter. Now how to get the h of n or the impulse response? That will be the inverse DFT. So use the IDFT equation to calculate the corresponding impulse response of the filter which passes through these particular points. That's the idea. So we use the equation 1 by n sigma capital Hk W n minus Kn. This is the IDFT equation. So here n is the length, it's 11, and so this we should remember about this n and that the previous n, the order, they are different because in this case we refer to the length of the DFT. So it will be 11. So it is W length minus Kn, W11 minus Kn. And you have to evaluate this over n is equal to 0 to 10. Now put the Hk values, we get an expanded equation like this. Now to simplify this, these 2 by 11, 4 by 11, they are normal values. When it comes to 18 by 11, we can bring it back to the 0 to 10 range. So for that we can use the periodicity property, because e to the power j 18 by 11 pi n, we can write it as e to the power j 22 minus 4, it's 18 pi n by 11. We write the 22 as it's the multiples of 11 because it will be periodic with the 11 or its multiple. So whenever we add or subtract multiples of 11, it will remain the same. And similarly, you can write e to the power this value, e to the power j20 pi n by 11, that you can write as e to the power minus j2 pi n by 11. Now you write it like this. Now you can simplify these e to the power j terms because you can combine this one with this one. That will be a 2 cos term, and this one with this one, that will be another 2 cos term. So it will be 1 by 11, 1 plus 2 cos of this 2 pi n by 11 plus 2 cos 4 pi n by 11. So this is the h of n. This is h of n. This is the h of n. 1 by 11, 1 plus 2 cos 2 pi n by 11 plus 2 cos 4 pi n by 11. Now we can evaluate the the impulse response sample values H0, H1, H2, etc. up to H10. So simply put the n values in this equation, you will get corresponding H0 to H10. So this is complete once you write this also, that is for n is equal to 0 to 10. So you have to evaluate this equation for 0 to 10. Okay, so these are the h values. Now once we get the h values, you can find the hz, a transfer function of the system. But you can see it's having a symmetric impulse response because the h0 and h10, not h10, the h1 and h10, they are the same. Then h2 and h0 and h1, sorry, h10 and h1, they are the same, h9 and h2, they are the same, like that. Okay, you can see the h9 and h2, yeah, like that. So this will ensure linear phase because of this symmetry condition. And the corresponding transfer function hz, it will be this h0 plus h1 into z power minus 1 plus h2 z power minus 2 plus then the h, so this will be the h z power minus 10 into this is actually h1, but we know it's same as h10, so it's actually h10 z power minus 10. So this is h9, h9 is at power minus 9 because h9 and h2 are same, so we make it together like this. Now if you want, we can find the frequency response after putting z is equal to e to the power j omega and then evaluating the frequency response for different values of omega. Okay, that we can proceed like that, but in some cases we can stop with this transfer function, and maybe if wanted we can draw the filter structure also, but that is not needed right now. Okay, so this is the way we design filters in the frequency sampling method. Now let us see another exercise. So in this case, we have taken a frequency response which is not having a transition band which is sharp. So in this case, it's slopy. The transition band is somewhat slopy. So we can take any arbitrary shape like this. Now the procedure is again same. You have to sample the frequency axis for the delta value. So in this case, we are taking 8 samples. So you have to take it from 0 to 7 and evaluate for 0, 1, 2. So when it comes to this range, it is not 1 or 0. So you have to take in between values from the equation of these lines, from where it starts, where it ends. So those informations will be given. So you get the SK values as 1, 1, 0.8, 0.2. So they come here 1, 1, 0.8, 0.2, then 0, then 0.2, 0.8, 1 like that. So now once you get the frequency samples, now the procedure is the same. You just start with the impulse response, the IDFT equation that will give you the impulse response. So you can proceed like that and find the impulse response or the transfer function or the final frequency response, and you can plot it, you can draw the structures and all. Okay, so that's about the frequency sampling method of designing FER filters. Thank you.